Hello, Gremolinos! It is I, Catherine, your favorite asthmatic, mostly 10-fingered, chaotic book reader. I am also trying to channel my very inner, mostly outer, early 2000s emo girl / goth girl, because I am going to be reading the entire Vampire Kisses series. This is a 9-book series. Okay, cool. I don't have lipstick on my teeth. And in this, we follow a lovely girl named Raven, who is 16 years old and a vampire crazed goth girl. So of course, she's gonna meet a vampire. So this entire series is 9 books, and my library had an odd rule I didn't know about. And you cannot check out an entire series at once. So I have books 1 through 4. They said the max you can check out at a time is 4. And they were like, we'll hold the rest of them for you. Like, they're behind the counter at my library. Once I finish these 4, they're like, come back, you can get the next 4. Once you finish those, you can pick up the last book. So it's a little odd because it's not like an even numbered series. It's also not divisible by 4. So it's a tricky setup. But I do have the first 4. So I have Vampire Kisses, then Vampire Coffins, Vampiresville, and Dance with a Vampire. So I read these books in the early 2000s. Yes, I am doing the like swoopy bang, and mine normally does this anyway, but I'm like intentionally having it block my eye a little. It's bothering me a touch, but I am letting it do the full swoop. I did read these. So the first book came out in 2003, so I would have been 13. So prime age to read this series. Goth girl, vampires, I would have been obsessed. I was obsessed. I just don't know that I actually finished the series because I don't know when the last book came out. I think these all came out pretty close together. I would bet you that this one came out in like 2004, maybe 2005. Oh, come on, show me the page. Oh, 2007. Okay, so they were pretty spaced out, which would explain why I didn't finish the series, because I would have been 17. And there was a certain point where I really started focusing on reading the House of Night series instead. So I own all the House of Night books. I have no clue if I want to reread those at this point, or if I would vlog it, because there are so many of them. There's the actual books, there's the little like novellas, there's some extra books. And the series is massive. They even wrote, this is unrelated to Vampire Kisses, they even wrote because it's a duo, a new book that came out that I had no idea about ages ago. And I found it at Half Price Books and I was like, what? And they wrote like an epilogue book out of the blue for the series. So I don't know. If you want me to do a House of Night vlog, I don't know when I would do that. It would be many vlogs. But if you'd be interested, let me know as we delve into the Vampire Kisses series. So these are pretty short. I think I can plow through them. If I can plow through these in like 2 days, I will go to the library and pick up the rest of them and we'll just do one big vlog. It's gonna depend. It's really gonna depend on how quickly I can get through these and get to the library. So we're just gonna play by ear a little. It is Tuesday. Krista has night court today. She has night court tomorrow, and she has night court on Friday. So I do have a lot of time. It's just getting to the library. Like, I would have to go to the library or see if Krista can go to the library for me. It's closer to her work than our house. So we will see. But I am excited to delve into this series that I know I was obsessed with. I know teenage me was like, this is incredible. So I'm just very excited. And the reason I'm reading this is I read a book for Winterween that reminded me, that felt like someone had read these and then tried to like use it as inspiration for their book. So that book was not a hit. I'm not gonna say what book it was. But it did make me want to check out this one and then another series. But we're starting with this one because this one is the shorter of the 2. So let's get into Vampire Kisses. We're gonna channel our gothy teen vampire lovingness. I'm just very excited. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I also will not look this put together throughout this vlog because we're in the middle of multiple snowstorms that are like back to back, and I have to do snow removal. So I will in some points be sweaty, in pajamas, irritated, tired, you know the gist. So there's a ton of snow. It's unavoidable. I am gonna have to help remove it because Krista has night court. But we will relish in the joy of teen vampire cuteness. I'm so excited. So excited. All right, I will see you when I have a book update, Gremolinos. Hi, Gremolinos. I have not talked to you in days for a remarkably good reason. I really don't want to get into the specifics of it right now. Not in like tremendous detail. Because I do actually have to run out the door because we have to get some stuff for said thing. Okay, so I think in a previous video, it had to have been a previous video, maybe in the last one, I don't know. Chloe was not feeling well and we took her to the vet and they said it was a thyroid problem. Like within 2 days, they insisted it was thyroid only, and she was on the thyroid medicine. And then last weekend she got worse. Like she was suddenly like super lethargic, was not hungry, like she would not eat. And Chloe always eats. Like Chloe loves food. And so we insisted that the vet that we'd been going to see us on Monday. And we were like, she's not eating, she's barely moving, like none of that makes sense. We also don't think she should be on the thyroid medication because like weird stuff was going on where like if your thyroid dose is too high and you're a dog, you lose muscle mass in your head. And she started losing muscle mass in her head. And Krista was like, yeah, this is bad. And she was like, also like, it doesn't seem like, it literally didn't seem to be helping her. Like for a week, she was kind of more energetic and excited. And online, even dogs who don't need thyroid medication, if you give them thyroid medication, they'll get very excited because they're getting like a boost of hormones. And so we went Monday, we're like, she's not sleeping, she's not eating, she's not drinking. Like she was drinking, but we didn't know how much. And really, she may not have been drinking very much at all. Like so many things. And on Monday, the guy was like, well, I just want to test her thyroid levels. And we're like, okay, but like, even if the thyroid medicine is too high, like this is all very concerning. Like we brought her in on the 5th and it is now, was that the 26th? 26th. Like it's now the 26th and all of those things that we told you on the 5th have not gone away. We really don't think it's the thyroid. And he was like, well, I need to check the levels. I need to check the levels. So he like took that, sent it off. He was like, we'll get the results Tuesday. Tuesday, we hear nothing. I call them at like noon and I'm like, hey, where are these results that you're talking about? Like she's doing even worse. I do not know what the hell is going on. Like the vet wasn't listening to us. And I'm like detailing everything, like all of this stuff. And the vet tech was very nice. And I did keep apologizing to her because I was like, I'm not frustrated with you. You seem lovely. I am frustrated with this vet. And so I'm trying to keep this very concise. So like she said like, well, now someone else at the office wants to see her. We want to do a full blood panel. And like, we have no idea if this blood panel is going to be sent out or not because they literally said, we don't have any of our test results from Monday because there's a snowstorm. And there has been consistent snowstorms for days. And I was like, that's understandable, but why didn't anyone call me to say like, we're not getting the results? So she was so bad on Tuesday, like was not sleeping, was not eating. We kind of got her to drink by like tricking her into drinking water. And then we were like, we're bringing her, like Wednesday, Krista was like, we're bringing her back in. And I even took the day off. Like I called in sick because we'd stayed up with her most of the night. And I was just like, I can't come in, I'm too tired. So we take her to this vet and literally the vet wanted to do another blood panel. And then he was like, oh, and we'd want to put her under to do x-rays. Like she looks so uncomfortable. On Wednesday, her gums were completely pale. Like parts of them looked almost white. And we were like, we're not putting her under anesthesia for x-rays. Like she looks horrible. That would not be safe. And so like we said we wanted to talk to the vet and have him actually look at her because he hadn't even looked at her. He had just sent like a text to the vet tech. We finally see him and he was like, okay, well, I do still think it's the thyroid, but I think something else may be causing the thyroid to have an issue. But like, here are antibiotics because you thought she had an upper respiratory infection. He does not check her nose. He says it's impossible to check. And he's like, oh, and her lungs are clear. Now, the issue that I had with all of this is he kept insisting because she had gained weight, it was obvious she had hypothyroidism. And we were like, okay, but like weight gain can be caused from a number of other things. And he seemed to be so fixated on the fact that the blood test showed hypothyroidism symptoms that that was obviously the fix, even though she was doing horribly on the meds. Thankfully, we convinced, so we go to the current vet we're at. I'm going to name them. It's VCA. It's a chain, but we have one here. We go to them solely because they're the only vet office that does emergency hours and they're actually closer to us than the vet we used to go to. So we used to go to a vet in a different county and he's pretty far from us, and when it snows it's almost impossible to get to him. We were in whiteout conditions yesterday, but they were like, we can see her, like it sounds really bad, bring her in at 2:30. So she rested a little, we got her over there. Literally the vet tech saw her and was like, something is clearly very wrong. She was like, she does not look healthy. And this is the kicker. The vet at VCA said, she looks completely healthy and alert, I think she's going to be fine. And we were like, she's obviously in pain, like she's panting excessively, she can't, like she's like barely moving. She's like, no, she looks good, she looks good. We were like, she does not look good. Literally this vet tech was like, I've been a vet tech for 25 years and looking at your dog, I can very clearly tell you she is not not well. Something is very wrong. And she was like, we're gonna take her to do x-rays. We're not sedating her. That would be, she was like, we don't do that. Like, we'll lay her on the table, we'll get the x-rays, we'll be back. So the vet we used to see there was technically off, but he was working next door. It's a whole thing. He suddenly showed up and he came in and he was like, okay, so big news. Chloe has a tumor on her spleen and the spleen has ruptured because of the tumor. So she was internally bleeding and that's why her gums were so pale. And they were all like, her gums being that pale. The vet tech literally had said, her gums look so pale, I'm very worried she has a bleed. And that's what was happening. And so they did the x-rays, verified, they took a lab just for safety's sake. And then they did emergency surgery on her at this vet last night at 5 o'clock. So we barely slept. She is still at the vet. But the only reason I'm even talking about this is she's awake, she's alert. They're trying to feed her at this point, but she made it through the night, no complications. Technically, she's still in the window, but the vet said she's like really fighting. She's very like awake. She's very good with everything handling her. The only thing that's come up is she hates catheters and she chewed her catheter tube. He said it's fine. She just like has pee on her. They've cleaned her because of her very large sutures, because having your spleen removed as a dog means a very large opening. Like they have to cut you a lot. He said she's doing very well, which is again the only reason I'm even freaking telling you about any of this, because admittedly, if she were not doing well, I would not be filming. I would not be doing this at all. I don't even know when I'm going to post this, but I'm just letting you know Chloe is doing okay. But she was so poorly misdiagnosed by this other office for almost a month that she could have died. The only reason she did not die is because another vet let us come in and did emergency surgery on her, because he was like, obviously there is a problem. We have located the problem and we're going to take care of it. The scary part is because it's a tumor, they have to send it for testing. So we don't know all of that, but the good news is it was removed. She is awake. She's alert and she's just trying to eat, but we haven't seen her since yesterday. And the vet is like, we have to see, like, I don't know if I want to keep her all like for another 24 hours or not. I do have to go. The dogs are working because Krista's here, but yeah, so it's been a time. In other news, I finished Vampire Kisses and I want to take it back to the library. So very quickly, I will tell you, Raven lives in a town she nicknames Dullsville. She really wants to be a vampire. She's obsessed with vampires. She's very gothy. This follows her with her best friend Becky, who her family lives on a farm. So she's like farm girl is literally what she's called. And Raven is like her protector. There's a bully named Trevor, and he has a friend named Matt. Though as the story progresses, Matt kind of steps away from Travis. Travis isn't a jerk. This is a kid's book. And there's a dubious consent scene between him and Raven. He definitely is written as a character who's bullying Raven because he thinks she's cute, and it annoys the crap out of me. She does meet Alexander. His family, the Sterlings, have moved into this mansion she's always been obsessed with, and she thinks he's a vampire. This all ties into, there will be spoilers in this. I'm so sorry. I'm going to be spoiling this whole series, just FYI. The books are too short. It's just happening. And it turns out like Travis had started the rumor, and so that causes a fight-ish between Raven and Alexander. But ultimately they do stay together. Raven will be dating Alexander throughout the series, but we don't know technically if Alexander is a vampire or not. I do have some nitpicks with this series that I did not remember, but also I was a teenager when I read these. Raven is mean at the start of this. She kind of gets better, but she's very, like, she kind of picks on her brother a lot. She judges her parents a lot. That does get a bit better. So I think maybe the author was asked to like change her character some. There are also some odd grammatical errors in here that I wasn't expecting. But I'm hoping to see growth on Raven's part, because initially she's just like very negative, very kind of mean. And now like the only person she's really mean to is Travis, and Travis is a jerk. So I'm allowing it. But this is fine. There's like a kiss scene. They're very chaste. But yes, so it wasn't exactly what I remembered, but I'm gonna keep reading. And I have to get this back to the library as well as another book, and I have a book in, so I gotta go. But there is the update. I will talk to you at some point. I don't know when, but I'll talk to you at some point with updates on Chloe, books, all the stuff. Hello, Gromolinos. This is the Chloe. She is home. Today is Saturday. We brought her home on Friday. And Friday, yeah, Friday
at like 1:30.
Yeah.
So morning they couldn't get her to eat or drink or.
Yeah, so we went and saw her on Thursday, and she was doing really well. She was fine. But after we went to visit her, she apparently got very upset that we didn't take her home, and the vet had wanted to keep her to put her on more fluids, which she refused. She was pulling out her IV apparently, so she stayed an extra night unintentionally at that point because they couldn't get the fluids to run. But we did pick her up on Friday, and she drank water for us. She ate some of the food that she would not eat. And so she has been resting. She does not like any of the food she's supposed to eat. She's on this like very restricted diet. It's special food for dogs that have had like major surgery. That's Banks, who has been just a terrorist. He's been ridiculous. He keeps coming in and like trying to jump on Chloe, and so that's why he's in the suit, to try and get him to chill out, because he's just terror. He's just a terror. So she is resting. She can't quite get comfortable because the sutures are pretty big. They go from like the top of her.
They rub on things.
Yeah, like they're just long. They're very long sutures. So she is resting. We have gotten her to eat, but we have to feed her with a syringe, like very blended down watery food, because she doesn't like it and she won't eat it at all. And she's very stubborn, but she's been taking it via syringe, so that's a plus at least. And she's drinking water normally. She just does not like the flavor of the food, and we can't like jazz it up. Like it has to be this like very bland diet stuff. But she's home and she's resting. We just have to monitor her sutures, keep an eye on her.
Force feed her 5 times a day.
Yeah, she does have to be syringe fed 5 times a day, and we have to take her out about at the same frequency, if not more, just to like try and get her to go to the bathroom. She's not supposed to like poop yet, because of all the medication she was on, but we have to try and get her to pee, which she's been doing, but like sometimes she goes out and it's really cold, so she doesn't really want to do anything. But yeah, so she is resting, and we just fed her a little bit ago, and that was her last normal feeding. The one after this is we have to syringe feed her, and then we also have to get her to take 3 medications before bed, so it's a lot of stuff to have to do, and she has to have food in her stomach with them or they'll make her sick, so it is a lot. So yeah, it is a very intensive care plan, but also she had a tumor on her spleen, and her spleen was ruptured, and so that was removed, and we don't have the results yet. We won't get those for a long time.
Yeah, the doctor said it's ruptured in multiple places.
Yeah.
Her spleen was basically like Swiss cheese by the time they
Yeah. So yeah. So she's just resting now.
Her body's fighting a lot of infections because your spleen is supposed to take the toxins
out of everything.
And so when her spleen ruptured, it leaked toxins and blood all in through her body, and they can't remove it. You just have to, you just have to flush the system and give them a lot of antibiotics. So she's on antibiotics for like. Dude, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You take one step towards her, I'm going to throw you on the floor.
Stop. I even took him upstairs and laid him with the other cats, and he refuses. While she is here, because she can't have anyone like on her or accidentally step on her, Kira and Bruni are over here. We had to build like a barricade and gave them part of the couch. They're both very displeased about this.
Just so you know, that type of bone, the Bruni is chewing, is
not great.
It does not digest. Like little pieces break off and they swallow them.
They don't digest.
They don't digest them.
He only has it right now because there's a lot going on, and it keeps him from barking at the TV. And it's kind of like giving a pacifier to a baby. And
once Chloe's healed,
we have to take them out. But
little pieces of rubber from those in Chloe's stomach.
But yeah, so they are over there. They're also going on their normal schedule and stuff, and then they're sleeping upstairs with me, and later tonight I'll talk to you because I did get some reading done, so I'll talk to you about books. But yeah, I told Chloe I would settle with her and hang out, and I'm gonna make Krista a coffee because she got barely any sleep because she was up with Chloe all night, down here in the recovery zone. So yeah.
Oh, show them the box you got.
Oh,
I was hoping you get to show them something else, but it didn't come. It got delayed again. Okay, so Krista did order additional coffee and apparently something else before all of this happened, like weeks before. Yeah, before. So like none of this was going on. So yeah, so I can open it. I just gotta go in the kitchen. But yeah, so they're gonna hang out here. Gilmore Girls is on. We might put it on something else, but we just put it on because we were trying to rest and get Chloe to sleep, which she is doing right now because I'm in the room. But yeah. She won't sleep if yeah, if I leave, she won't sleep. Now at night, she'll sleep. She's on a pain med then, so she's less prone to moving around. But yeah, so I guess I'll open that box and I will show you. And also I'm gonna make you coffee because I said I'd make coffee. So this is your update on the Chloe. She still has like a lot of recovery. Like it's an extensive recovery. It's 2 weeks where she like can't really do anything at all.
We're fighting for her.
Right, and we're trying to make sure that the infection doesn't spread or do anything. So this is still like very intensive. Like she's not.
If she doesn't eat, then it can't fight the infection.
Right. So like she's not. It's not like getting your appendix out or something. Like
she has extra swelling today, which is also making
yeah,
her more uncomfortable.
Yeah. So it's a lot. It's like if a human went through major surgery, but the issue is like she can't tell us things and does not have as many food options as a human would. So yeah, so she's just recovering and we're keeping an eye on her, and that's really all we're doing. Krista goes back to work Monday. I go back to work Monday. I am at home, so I can at least take like small breaks that like are scheduled out to take her to the bathroom and stuff, and that's fine because I'm allowed to take breaks at my job for brief periods of time.
Did you the whole ramp saga?
Oh no. I'll
Video, you know, so.
Oh my gosh. Just
DoorDash sent me an email today. How would you rate your? I couldn't even do it today.
Okay.
I don't have the band.
So very brief cliff notes because you're just staring at Chloe and Krista, and this clip's getting kind of long. Yesterday afternoon, Krista ordered an outdoor pet ramp for Chloe because her dad did come and put one in, but Chloe won't touch it. Like she was like weirded out by it. So we thought maybe if we got her like a different one, maybe she would use that one instead. Yeah. So we ordered it. It was apparently the only one in stock at Petco. We waited all day for it to show up, and then at 8, I think, wasn't it like 7:30, 8 o'clock? Yeah. Krista gets a text that says your item has been delivered, and I'm like, no one's been here. I like go outside, check the whole property. We look at the photo of where they delivered it. It's not even remotely our house. So Krista like calls the number for the DoorDasher, and the person says, well, yeah, I delivered it. And Krista's like, where'd you deliver it? Because it's not here. And the person gave parts of a completely different address, like 230, 203. And then Krista was like, no, we're not at 203, we're 335, like South Massey Street. And then he just hung up and like wouldn't answer the phone. We called Petco, and admittedly we were both very stressed. So
they were pretty rude.
Right.
It's not our problem, it's DoorDash's problem.
So we had to order it on Petco's website, but Petco only delivers through DoorDash for their like in-town deliveries, and so we didn't have another option. Like it said like you could use DoorDash, but then the emails only say if you have issues with your delivery you have to contact Petco. It says like contact Petco. It doesn't matter what button you push, it routes you to your local Petco. Yeah, and we kept telling them like it keeps like routing us to you, like there's no number on here that is for DoorDash. Do you have like a specific DoorDash number to call? I was like, there isn't one. And they're like, well, we can Google you one. And I was like, I could have Googled it myself. Like, you don't have your own number? Like, okay. So like I called them, talked to DoorDash, and then they lied to DoorDash and told them they had another item, like a matching item, and they had a DoorDasher come deliver it. Like DoorDash handled all of it in the way they thought was being handled, but Petco literally lied to them and gave them an indoor pet ramp, and then
it was half the price.
Right. And then
too small.
Krista drove out to return the ramp, even though she didn't want to leave the house. Like I stayed with Chloe. She showed up and they were like, oh, well, we didn't tell them it was a substitution or they wouldn't have done it. And she was like, you can't not tell them it's a substitution. Like you verified it was an outdoor pet ramp that's far more expensive. We can't even put her on this because she's over 80 pounds. And so,
put it on the steps
right, it's designed for inside, so it can't sit on outside stuff. And so Krista did that. And then someone almost kidnapped her. There was like a creepy guy on a bike, and then she got tailed from the Petco, literally tailed by a car all the way to another pet store where she got a different ramp. Thankfully, she avoided him by like making an illegal right-hand turn. And the guy almost hit a median because he was trying to keep an eye on her and wasn't paying attention. And so she told Pet Supply, where she went and got a different ramp, which also Chloe wouldn't use because it was the same size as the one her dad put in. It was like such a stressful, terrible evening. So yeah. Don't order same-day delivery from Petco, or maybe just don't buy things from Petco. They're kind of shady as heck. We've had a number of issues with them before. This was like a last-ditch effort because Pet Supply doesn't do delivery. Like that's not a thing they do, and Petco says they do, but don't do it. don't ever do it. But yeah, so I'm gonna go make you coffee. I'm rambling a lot. I'll show you the stuff in the box.
Maybe don't lick your feet.
Please don't lick your feet. I know that spot is. I'm
Kira.
gonna have to spray it.
Kira.
Okay, I gotta go deal with Akira and a
Kira,
coffee.
don't
So
lick-
I will talk to you possibly in the
Don't
kitchen.
lick that phone.
So the lighting is terrible, but it's the Candy Cane blend coffee. Krista really liked this one, so she got more of it. And then she got me another Soda Shop blend, which is the vanilla. And I'm very curious. I haven't tried this one yet. I'm gonna get to it. We actually are almost done with the bag of Candy Cane that I opened at the beginning of the month. If you can see the camera strap. Also, my nails look like trash. Sorry. I'm tired. But this is what I have. I am gonna ask her. I'm guessing this is what she was talking about, but if she did order something else, I will ask her and report back at some point. But I'm guessing it was that she got me a bag of coffee specifically for me, because this is like a shared one. But yeah, so there's the coffees. But I'm gonna go. We're gonna relax a little, and then in like 2 hours we have to do a bunch of stuff. So yeah, big rest of the night. Hello, Gremolinos. It is late. I am wearing my Ouija sweatshirt that I wear for pajamas like all the time. I have 3 books to update you on before I go to sleep. So, Krista and Chloe are sleeping downstairs. I'm up here with Kira and Brune. And I have updates. But I just wanted to do them really quick before I go to bed. And I am talking kind of quietly because the door is open. I would normally close it by now, but Goose is asleep under the bed and I can hear her. And I just want to make sure she can leave. So I'm going to be updating you on books 2, 3, and 4 of the Vampire Kisses series. And overall, I will say, just like as a general thing for these books so far, Raven has become much nicer. So I feel like her attitude after book 1 is like toned down, and also the like sexual nature of the books has been toned down a bit. So it's odd to me is in book 1, I didn't really get into this. I know my recap of the first book wasn't great. But in book 1, Trevor, who is like Raven's nemesis, which he's really just a guy she's known for forever, and he's definitely written as one of those characters who's like super into Raven, and his way of flirting is to be an absolute jerk. So he's really cruel. He insults her, and in the first book, what I didn't really discuss is he like forces himself upon her at a party at one point, and then she gets back at him at that same party by tricking him into like taking all of his clothes off while she's not looking at him. Then she steals his clothes and then like slowly gives them back to him by like putting them on her locker. It's very weird, especially for like a YA book. And the other odd thing is Raven's supposed to have turned 16 in the first book, like her 16th birthday is a random chapter. But I mean, I can't drive and I'm 35, but they have her drive a car in the first book, but she doesn't have a license. Like, she has specifically said in later books she doesn't have a license. So it's very weird to me, and it just felt odd that she like drove a car in the first book, and I'm like, but you don't have a license. Like, that came up more than once. Oh, Goose is on the move. I thought she might leave, which is good because I can like push the door a lot more closed and turn down the TV and turn off lights. Anyway, but the books do get toned down a bit from there. So, well, kind of, you'll see. So in book 2, Kissing Coffins, after book 1, Alexander leaves town. Like, he just disappears. And book 1 also kind of leaves you in a kind of ambiguous, like, is Alexander really a vampire, or is he just like from Romania? And people are like projecting. In this one, Raven wants to find Alexander. Think when Edward disappeared in the Twilight series. Not that I read those as a teenager. I actually read those like 2 years ago now, for a whole vlog series, but I do know that Edward disappears and Alexander disappears, and Raven thinks he might be in Hipsterville is what she calls it, because Jameson, his butler, sends letters or flowers to someone, and the letter, like the card with it, says the Coffin Club, or it has the phone number for a place called the Coffin Club in Hipsterville. So conveniently, Raven has an aunt who lives in Hipsterville, and she goes to stay with her. Her aunt is like a budding actress. Like, she's always wanted to be an actress, and she is. She does these kind of like small time plays. She's in Dracula, which is humorous. And Raven does wind up going to the goth club, the Coffin Club, which introduces us to Jagger. So Jagger is someone from Romania who is connected to Alexander, and it does turn out that Alexander was in Hipsterville all along, but he does come back to Dullsville. And Jagger becomes obsessed with Raven, and it turns out that he's obsessed with her in part because there's kind of a family feud that has occurred between the families, but it seems like it's more between the children of the families, where Alexander was supposed to basically be, it's called a covenant, but it's kind of like being betrothed. He was basically betrothed to Jagger's sister, and he kind of left her at the quote-unquote altar of vampirism because Jagger's sister Luna was not a vampire. She was actually born a human. And in this, you're like born a vampire and you can be made a vampire. But it seems like if you're born a vampire, you can age still, because like Alexander, we do learn in this one officially, is a vampire, but he's like aging. Like his parents have aged. So he does age from what I can tell. You just like are like, you can turn into a bat, you can't go out during the day, you can't ingest or be around garlic, like very classic vampire tropey things. Also, you have to sleep in a coffin, that does come up. But in this one specifically, Raven is just trying to find Alexander, and it all kind of turned into looking for Alexander, finding Jagger, and then Jagger becoming obsessed with her. And then, is there a dance in this one? Let's see. No. Okay. So there's a carnival that Alexander does wind up going with Raven to at the end of this. And at that point, we know that Luna is also in town. Again, all the vampires are very gothy. So Jagger is like the epitome of goth. He hangs out at the Coffin Club, which is again the epitome of goth. And Luna is also very gothy. Luna, I would say, is more like pastel goth to Raven's more like standard gothy teen. But the creepy thing that does occur in here is when she goes to the Coffin Club, people are hitting on Raven consistently, and it's gross because she's 16 and you're supposed to be 21, it seems like, to get into this club. It's just like a little sketch. But also, this is from the early 2000s, and so I feel like it's supposed to be flattering that people are into her. Also, Trevor doesn't play a big part in this one because Raven is in Hipsterville, but he does in the later books. So I'm going to move on to Vampireville. And in this one, Luna and Jagger have like set up this plan where they are going after Trevor. And it's all very like odd. Like, we learn more about being a vampire and the Covenant and what happened where Alexander didn't become betrothed. Well, covenanted, but it's basically being betrothed to Luna. He left her. And they're kind of getting their revenge, and they are going after both Raven and Trevor. So Jagger, in his obsession with Raven, is still like following her, and they have kind of moved into the town, and he's stalking her for sure. And with this stalking, Luna is also going after Trevor, and so Jagger and Luna are focusing on getting Trevor, like setting up some kind of covenant ceremony, and kind of not technically inviting Raven and Alexander, but also like Raven and Alexander are definitely going to be there. And so a lot of this one is the setup of no I'm trying to remember because I've read these kind of all back to back, and with everything going on with Chloe, it's a lot to keep like straight in my brain. Okay. So there's just like a lot going on in here. They're trying to find Jagger and Luna, and on top of that, we also learn about, it's in this one, I think, or is it in the other one? Yeah, there's the, sorry, I am totally like triple extra checking to make sure I'm not forgetting something. Yep, nope. They are going to go to, there's just person Europe, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so a lot of this one, is really just like Jagger and Luna's plan, to do some kind of ceremony. And on top of that, we also have Jameson, who is Alexander's butler, going on a date with someone named Ruby, which is very, very cute. I'm trying to see. Yeah, there's like a party with Grim Reapers, and it's in the cemetery, and that's kind of like the big event in this one, is they all wind up at this party. And in this one, Kissing Coffins, let me make sure again, because I've been reading so many of these back to back. So Kissing Coffins, sorry, I'm jumping back and forth. Kissing Coffins, the big event in this one is there is a screening of the film Kissing Coffins, and it's kind of like a cult classic. I think Rocky Horror Picture Show is what they compare it to, actually. And it's a vampire movie, and what Raven and Alexander have to do is convince Jagger that she's become a vampire. And so they do this whole thing at the drive-in, and it's very fun. This one is a fun time because we get so many things going on. And then this one is a lot of trying to find Jagger and Luna, stop their plan, and then having to like thwart the plan at the party, which gets very tricky because they are definitely preying on Trevor. And the setup is they're trying to convince Alexander that they're going to turn Trevor and like make a covenant with him and Luna, but it's really to draw Alexander out. So there's just a lot of like tricking Alexander and Raven and trying to get at the two of them, but using Trevor as like a ploy. And then Trevor in this and like kind of a jerk, but again, it's so strange because it's a bit like setting up a love triangle, kind of, because as this book progresses, like we learn Trevor is very into Raven because he's more choosing Luna because he is like reminded of Raven. Then in Dance with a Vampire, prom is in this one, which is why the title is Dance with a Vampire. And in this one, technically Jagger and Luna are supposed to have left Dullsville, but we learned at the end of Vampireville that they have a little brother. They have a little brother who's the exact same age as Billy Boy, who is Raven's little brother, and she's much nicer to him. And especially in Dance with the Vampire, she's very focused on her brother's safety. So a lot of this one is her trying to protect her brother, trying to protect his friend Henry, like trying to figure out like how to keep him away from Valentine. And like Valentine becomes very like insidious in this, in that he's like showing up at her house and doing like sleepovers with her brother, well, a sleepover. And we learn that Valentine has this skill where if he like holds your neck, he can like read your blood and look into your mind. And so he realizes that Trevor likes Raven, and even though like Trevor asked him about Luna, that comes up, and also that Raven is not prepared to be a vampire. He's like, I saw it in your head, you're not ready, you don't want to be a vampire, like Alexander needs to know. And so there's a lot of like, there's a consistent discussion of Raven not being ready to be a vampire, even though she's always wanted to be one, because she doesn't want to leave her family, which is very sweet and kind of lends into her character as we go on, because Raven is very dedicated to her parents, and her parents were like former hippies, and they're actually pretty accepting of her being goth. And her mom during prom dress shopping even lets her buy like a Halloween costume, which is this dress on the front that is technically a Halloween costume, but she wears it to prom. And throughout we see that Raven like really cares for her family. She and her mom actually do get along as the books progress. And she does get along pretty well with her dad. Her dad is even very interested, I'm putting that down, in like getting to know Alexander. And he even like, once he finds out Alexander is allergic to garlic, he's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, because he ordered garlic at a restaurant. And like they took them to dinner. Like it's all very cute and like family oriented as the story progresses. So book one almost feels a bit like an outlier, where we've made Raven very like, I hate my parents, I hate my brother, I hate living here. And she's actually become more interested in them and more focused on them, because she keeps thinking about what would happen if she did become a vampire, and that she would no longer really have them because she wouldn't be able to interact with them. So that's like very sweet, even though she loves Alexander and she loves talking about Alexander and being with Alexander, and it is very cute. Like it's very teen romancy, like they're destined for each other right away. But there is in Dance with a Vampire the overwhelming threat of Valentine hurting her brother, and she's trying to stop that, and Alexander is trying to help her and also try and figure out why Valentine is here when his siblings were supposed to go back to Romania at the end of the last book. And we do learn that they did not go back to Romania. That's going to lead into the next one, I am very sure. So they didn't go back, and we kind of have to deal with like what to do from there. And Alexander is planning on leaving and taking Valentine to be with them, and he'll have to see what they decide to do. So Raven is again without Alexander like she was in book 2, and she's just kind of have to deal with that. The other issue that we run into is Raven realizing like she can't kind of share their relationship the same way as other people. Her best friend Becky is dating Matt, who was introduced in the first book, and Matt was Trevor's friend, but they stopped being friends at the end of the first book, and he started dating Becky. That's not why they stopped being friends, but like Becky wasn't popular, and now she's with Matt, who is popular, and she's still like her old self, but like Becky wants to like do things as like as a foursome, and Alexander can't do all of those things. Alexander can't be in photos. Like, it is very difficult, and Raven's like, well, I can't even like show photos of him because he doesn't show up in photographs. And so there are some drawbacks for her when she's discussing Alexander. The fashion in this, though, is very fun. The descriptions of what the two of them are wearing, how they're both like gothy teens outside of their family. What's interesting is she actually said preteen at one point, and I was like, but you're both 16, I think, which would make you solidly teenagers. So it was an odd choice of the word preteen. And so there are some fun, like, made up things like Hello Baddie, but they're also discussing some actual things that like kids would wear. There's a fake Hot Topic mentioned throughout that is cute. And then there is an odd amount of references to Batman. Like, we're constantly talking about like vampire movies and vampire things, and then she'll be like, Batman and Alfred. And I'm like, why are we talking about Batman? Like, Batman's not a vampire. I mean, Tim Burton has a vampire film, so that's the only thing I'm thinking of is like, she's talking about Tim Burton's Batman, but it's so odd. It does kind of go away. Like, it's less mentioned, but at one point she's like, my own personal Batmobile, and I was like, wouldn't you just say a hearse? Like, wouldn't you want a hearse? Like, I don't understand. But as the books progress, again, we are getting this like odd possible faux love triangle, because Raven is told that Trevor likes her and has always liked her. And then Raven kind of like thinks about the fact that they've like known each other forever, and she kind of relents to certain things with Trevor, which I think are interesting, in that she'll be like, yeah, I'll make this deal with you, I'll dance with you. And in Dance with the Vampire, she winds up being prom queen. And she's like, this is rigged as heck because Trevor is prom king. And she keeps being like, I don't like Trevor, but also she like relents and will like do stuff with Trevor, or she'll like be worried about Trevor. And then we learn that Trevor does like her. So it's a very interesting setup because Trevor is human. And then Alexander does mention like, well, he's around you all the time. Like, he can see you, he can spend the day with you, and I can't do that. So it is interesting, as a setup. And I don't think I ever finished this series, so I don't know what happens with that. But I'm curious. I do have book 5, over here, way over here. Which is called The Coffin Club, and this is Raven on the cover, technically. The hope is that I can finish book 5 before Sunday night, or by Sunday night, technically before Monday morning, and then Krista can take all these back to the library for me, and I can call the library and see if they'll just hold the rest of the series. So, I don't know if I went over this, but I think I did. My library actually said, like, they could not hold all the books. Like, when Krista talked to them, they're like, oh, you can't request all of, like, if you request all of them at once, we'll just keep them behind the counter until you finish. And I went, while Chloe was being held at the vet's office, and I was like, I'm here to get this book, and they were like, oh, well, we're gonna reshelve these, like, you technically, like, your hold has expired as of, like, that day. And I was like, could you please just hold them a little longer? Like, I'm trying to get through the books, but, like, we had like a huge emergency, like I couldn't read them, so I'm hoping that they hold them. Like, maybe if I call Monday, I can be like, can you just hold them until the end of day? I promise I'm picking up the last 4, because I just will need books 6, 7, 8, and 9, which are technically behind the desk. And so I'm hoping maybe if I call Monday morning, I can be like, can you just hold them until you close? Because Krista did say she would run to the library for me before she comes home, because I'll have taken care of Chloe's stuff by then. So yeah, hopefully I can get the rest of them without it being a huge hassle. But yeah, so, oh, I did paint my nails randomly, because I came up early. I am going to pop on an episode of CSI and go to bed, basically. I should probably brush my teeth and like go to the bathroom and stuff, but I'm just gonna put that on and hang with Kira and Bruni. I believe Chloe and Krista are asleep. There's no sound coming from downstairs. I know this clip is remarkably long, but I was talking about 3 different books. So, sorry. Sorry about that. But yeah, so, is that Chloe? I don't know. Krista will wake up with her if she needs to. But they're downstairs. But I'll see. If Chloe makes noise at night, Krista should take care of her, technically. I can always run down if need be. Krista's just like right next to her. But yeah, it's super, super cold. So the issue is like Chloe hasn't wanted to go to the bathroom, which is stressful and also like understandable because it's really cold. So yeah, but I'm gonna get ready for bed. I'm gonna check on them real quick, I think, just to make sure they're okay. And then I'll probably go to bed. So I will talk to you sometime tomorrow. Probably before I go with an update. Maybe it's a cat. I feel like I'm going a little bonkers. But yeah, I'm gonna go. This is such a long clip. I hope you enjoy this very long recap of many books. And I'll talk to you about book 5 when I can, because I'm gonna try and get it back to the library on Monday so I can get the rest of the books. Hopefully. Wish me luck. My dear Grammarly knows. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hello, Grammarly knows. We are back in the bedroom, and I have finished The Coffin Club, which is the 5th book in the Vampire Kisses series. So I am currently in my pajamas. I'm wearing this Nightmare Before Christmas nightgown, which totally fits because Raven talks about Nightmare Before Christmas, and I actually have my mare Squishmallow that I sleep with behind me. But the Coffin Club is set during the summer, and Raven decides to go to Hipsterville to stay with her aunt because she has figured out that Alexander is in Hipsterville because he was going to see, like, deal with Valentine and Jagger she knows is at the Coffin Club. So she convinces her aunt to let her stay with her, and while she's there, she gets into, like, her own investigation. So technically we don't see, I'm saying that in quotes, Alexander for a lot of this book, because Raven is doing her own investigation of the Coffin Club, and she is able to get in with her fake ID, which she had made in a previous book. And she actually goes another time during, like, a teen night with her aunt. But while she's going, she learns that there is actually a secret vampire club underneath the Coffin Club. And currently Jagger is in charge of it. And what's so odd is, like, crop circles get introduced, and it turns out that crop circles are how vampires talk to each other. That's the argument for this book. Raven also meets 2, like, teen vampire girls who are best friends. I'm going with best friends, but they say they're, like, never apart unless they're sleeping, which is so interesting to me and seemingly very queer-coded in my eyes. But you have to have, like, a special key, but once you get into this club, because you're a vampire, you're a member for eternity. And so Raven is kind of pretending to be a vampire to, like, figure out what's going on, why there are these crop circles, what Jagger is up to. And then a new character is introduced named Phoenix. So Phoenix is described as having, like, swoopy purple hair and a motorcycle, and there's something going on between him and Jagger and, like, control of the club. And what we initially hear is that people are worried that Jagger is going to lose control of the club and that things will change. But of course, Jagger is not a man that can be trusted. And we learn that Jagger is actually trying to recruit more vampires, and he kind of wants to take over Hipsterville. Oh, sorry, I just realized I have, like, a scratch there or something. Anyway, but he basically is trying to recruit more vampires, and Phoenix actually wants to protect the club and keep it as, like, a safe haven for vampires. And so Raven, like, tries to warn everyone, and it really boils down to her, like, warning everyone and then Jagger kind of being ousted. All of these stories, the bad guys always get their comeuppance, and at this point, typically the bad guy is Jagger. There are some kind of cute scenes with Raven and her aunt, like, going to the goth club, and her aunt getting very gothed up because her aunt's kind of like a hippie, but she has gotten a new job, which is very fun. But we do learn that Alexander and Jameson are going back to Dullsville, and Raven can head back too, and they'll be able to spend the rest of the summer together. So that's where this kind of ends off. We also get this, like, very fun moment where, like, Phoenix is kind of flirting with Raven, and Raven's like, okay, I have a boyfriend, like, you're cute, but no. And then we learn that Phoenix is not who he appears to be. Phoenix is actually, dun dun dun, Alexander. It was very cute. It just made me chuckle. But it was just, like, a fun little read where Raven is really mostly investigating on her own. There are some scenes with Alexander, like, cute little romantic scenes, like teen romance. Again, this is a YA book, and it feels very young YA, even though she's technically 16. It's all very chaste, it's cute, there's some kissing. But this kind of ends on a cliffhanger where Alexander's like, we have all of eternity, and, like, flashes his fangs. So is it possible that he is turning Raven? We won't know until the next book. But the tricky part about the next 4 books in the series is I need to call my library tomorrow morning. So I think I went over this. So much has been going on. But I did not know you could only check out 4 books at a time in a series. I had no idea. I'd never run into that before. And so they were holding them, but, like, your hold runs out. And when Krista talked to them, they said it would be fine. They would just hold on to them. But she didn't realize that they were only going to hold them until, like, the official end date on my hold. And technically that was the 29th, but they said they would hold them till Monday. So I'm gonna call and ask if they don't mind holding the books until end of day Monday, because Krista did say she could swing by the library for me, because she will have the car, she has to go to work, and the library is kind of near her work, so she could go before she comes home. Tomorrow is just tricky though, because it will be the first time that the two of us have to work after Chloe's surgery, and she's on her 5 meals a day schedule, and she still does not like the food, so we've been syringe feeding her, and I have to syringe feed her alone, for at least 1, 2, 3, possibly 3 of her meals, and then I'll also have to take her to the bathroom after, which is fine. The syringe feeding does not take very long. It's just tricky because the food is mixed with water, and so like the amount she can consume is difficult, because the ratio that, like, the amount that's listed that she's supposed to have, I can't force feed her that much, because literally with water in it, it's so much fluid, like it would make her sick. So like I'm just trying to get her to eat as much as we can before, like, we'll kind of like syringe feed her until she's like very fed up with what we're doing, and then we stop. And so she is getting food, but I'm really hoping I can convince the vet to let me give her like boiled chicken or something. So technically they said it's possible, but not like a good idea, but like she doesn't want to eat anything physically. So I don't know. I'm gonna see. We emailed them over the weekend, so if they get back to me, then I'm gonna ask if I can do something. But yeah, so that's the update for now. I am just going to keep CSI on. I'm gonna turn off lights, and I am gonna try and get some sleep, because again, we have a full work week this week. And yeah, so I have to call my library in the morning after we get Chloe all situated. She has to wear a cone all day, and she hates cones. She hates wearing them so much. So hopefully it'll be okay. Oh, my battery's dying, so I have to charge that too. But I'm gonna get ready for bed. This was a fun read, very like goth Nancy Drew, which I appreciated. But yeah, so I'm gonna get ready for bed. I will talk to you maybe sometime tomorrow night. I'm not even sure if I'll talk to you tomorrow, because I won't have books. And I can only fill you in so much on how everything's going with Chloe, because we're just trying to get her on a system and all of that, and I will be very tired, so we shall see. But I will talk to you when I have Vampire Kisses updates. Grimelinos. Hello, Grimelinos. We are back in the bedroom again. It's been a few days since I talked to you. I'm wearing my Twilight sleep shirt. It's very oversized. It's very comfy. I have read 2 more Vampire Kisses books. So Krista was able to swing by the library for me very quickly to drop off, sorry, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze, drop off the 4 books I had, and then she was able to pick up the last 4 books in the series for me. So I've read books 6 and 7. There were only 9, so I should hopefully be able to finish the series pretty soon. It is now Wednesday. I think I last talked to you on Sunday, maybe? I don't know. So Monday I went back to work, but Krista didn't. She was going to go back to work, and then in the morning Chloe got very like jumping around, like she would not settle down, and the issue was like I still needed to work, and I hadn't set up working downstairs. Like I had thought about it, but I just like didn't have the stuff downstairs yet, and Krista was like, I'm calling in, like I'm gonna take a vacation day and make sure like she doesn't rip her sutures. And the issue was that she wasn't really sleeping, Chloe, and by default also Krista, so Krista was exhausted, but Chloe was like in a lot of, so like she couldn't get comfortable, so she wouldn't sleep, and so she was like very restless and moving around a lot. And in part it's because her pain med dosage wasn't high enough. Again, it's major surgery, like she had to be completely opened up, her spleen was removed, a lot is happening there, like, so she's in a lot of pain. And anytime she like goes to the bathroom, there's pressure on her sutures, so it hurts. She lays on them wrong, it hurts. So on Monday we had a call with the vet, and we were talking about it, and she was like, oh, and so we like talked to a very nice person there. But the issue is that Chloe's actual vet, like the one who would prescribe medication, he was out of the office. He does a ton of like other stuff, so like he was not going to be around all day. They couldn't really reach him by phone, which I'm gonna guess he was off doing like farm stuff, because I guess he does like some farm animal things. I don't know, but he was not going to be available at all. So they were like, Tuesday morning we can let him know, and like he can call in meds for her. But the issue is then we would need the meds on, like have to pick them up on Tuesday, and we didn't know if they could call them in here or if Krista would have to drive out to the vet's office to get them. So she was like, okay, so now I have to take Tuesday off. But like, she found that out pretty early and like told her office, but it's just been kind of a mess. Like in regards to like her getting time off and scheduling her work. Not that she typically takes a lot of days off. Like, this is the only time Krista has taken off like consistent days, like more than like one or like maybe two at a time. Like, it's very rare that she calls in this much, but like, I literally on Monday I did not know if I could watch her, just because like, and it was good that Krista was here because someone called in sick and I had to cover his job, and so I was slammed all day. Tuesday, I figured out that I could bring most of my stuff, well, like a core amount of my work stuff downstairs, so I could work on the couch, like set my stuff up. I can sit on the couch and I'm like right next to her so that I can keep an eye on her. So we did that Tuesday while Krista was home, and it worked fine, and I did it again today and it was okay. Chloe is slowly starting to feel better, and so she did attempt to lick her sutures a couple times, which resulted in me yelling a lot because literally she cannot touch them. She can't touch them, and she's not really allowed to be walking around a lot. So it like is a little stressful because you have to like I'm doing work, but also like out of the corner of my eye I'm constantly like, are you moving? Are you doing something you shouldn't do? And now we could put a cone on her, and I told Krista tomorrow if she goes for her sutures like at all, I'm putting it on. But she didn't actually get to anything. She was not close. She was like gauging whether I could catch her. So, everything was fine. We also got permission to give her food that is not the dog food she hates. So she ate boiled chicken Monday and Tuesday, and she had boiled beef today. And she really, really likes the beef. She liked the chicken, but she really likes the beef. So she's at least eating more consistently, which is good. She just really didn't like the specialty dog food, which makes sense. It's like, it smells weird. I think it smells weird, and I'm not a dog, so I'm sure it smells extra weird to her. So she's doing well. Krista's really tired. She was at work all day today, and that was a whole thing. I'm not even gonna get into that because it's not my work, but yeah, just like a lot was going on. Yeah, sorry, it's not even super late. I'm just kind of tired. It's like not even 9 o'clock, so I'm gonna read more tonight, but I'm a little tired. So yeah, she was able to use her 30-minute lunch to come home and help me take out Kira and Bruni, and then she was home after work and did not have to work a double shift, even though her boss really wanted her to. She was able to come home, which like the issue was like, because even if Chloe is coned, if she moves too much she could rip a suture. Like, I was so paranoid about like going to the bathroom or like leaving the room at all. So like, I got coffee before Krista left. I got a refill on my coffee while I was feeding Chloe. Like, we were both in the kitchen together. And then I like ran to the bathroom twice, I think, over the course of my whole work day. And like, I would wait until I felt like I was gonna pee on the couch. I was just like, I have to pee so bad. And I would like sprint while like Chloe was in like the sleepiest state possible to go to the bathroom. And then like, I literally was like, when you get home, I'm gonna go to the bathroom for more than 2 seconds. Because I was literally like running in, peeing, running out. Like, it was a whole hot mess. But I was like, I can't leave her alone. Like, I can't. Because we got like mail, and she like barked at the mailman, and plows were coming by and trucks were coming by, and so like she would want to bark at stuff, and I was like, ah. But yeah, so that's the Chloe update. She's doing better. Her big appointment is Saturday, like it's her big checkup, so we'll see how things are going. She is definitely feeling better. They have to do like blood testy stuff to see how things are going beyond like how she's behaving, like in general, like how she is. So that's the update for you. I am not gonna film any of that. Sorry. We're into Sunday, into Saturday, so I'll probably finish filming this video hopefully within the next couple of days. The goal is to try and post this video on Saturday after the vet, maybe Sunday, I don't even know. So maybe you will get footage from Saturday, I have no idea. I'm just playing it fast and loose. This clip's already long, but we have 2 books to talk about. So I have Royal Blood, which is book 6, and Royal Blood is where Alexander's parents actually come to Dullsville. So Alexander doesn't really know that they're coming, or actually he does know they're coming, but he hasn't told Raven, and so Raven is like surprised to hear they're coming, and then she like doesn't really get to. It's very interesting because a ton of people keep being like, oh, we saw the Sterlings. It's just like, I haven't even gotten to meet them yet. How are people seeing them? Just like really upset about it. And then there's an art auction in this because Alexander, well, it's not entirely because Alexander's parents have made a decision. So like Alexander's parents want him to come back to Romania with them, and they want to sell the mansion, and he doesn't want to leave. Raven doesn't want him to leave, so they come up with this plan for like Alexander to buy the mansion himself, because he's about to turn 18 and he comes into like an inheritance at 18, and then they decide to like auction his art at this big like auction that occurs every year at the country club, and it goes really, really well. His art is actually like very well renowned at this auction, so that's pretty cool. But it turns out that his parents kind of relent. The dad's like, well, I didn't really want to sell the house anyway because it's like so, like, it's such a big emotional investment for the dad because it was his mother's house. So that was like a fun, sweet thing. But it really is just like Alexander's parents coming to town, and there's like a double, is it a double, it would be a triple date? I'm gonna put this down. Also, I have a hair on my face, so it's poking me. There's like a triple date, which is kind of cute between, there's two of them actually. So, the Sterlings and, Raven's parents like have dinner at the mansion, and it's so kind of silly. And there's also dinner at her house. I'm so sorry. Oh, good. Today it's been kind of a long week. But like the dates were very cute. Her mom makes pasta, but she's like, I know they're allergic to garlic. Stop freaking out about it, which is just like so funny to me. And then they have a very vampire-y dinner at the mansion, and on top of all of this, we get Alexander's mom, who is like a phenomenal vampire. Everyone is like so into her, and she's incredible, and she's very sweet, and she's so nice. And so that, like, it's just like a cute like getting to know the parents book. So I did enjoy that. And then this one, the 7th book, is Love Bites. And in this one, Sebastian, who is Alexander's best friend from Romania, who he never really talks about, he shows up in Dullsville, and he's like, hey, I wanted to hang out with you. Like, I've just been like moving around, traveling, haven't seen you in a while. And he sounds kind of like a hippie vampire. Like, they even say he has dreads, and it's definitely white guy dreads. Like, he has dreads, he wears rings, he's like a gamer. So he and Alexander are kind of like very different people, but he comes to hang out at the mansion. And what's so odd to me is Raven is like very excited he's here, because it's like, oh, Alexander has a friend, oh, this is so cool, oh, we're all hanging out together. But then Sebastian is like very weird with Becky, her best friend, and he's like hitting on her a bunch, and she's like, ew, why? Don't do that. She's supposed to be with Matt. And then like she waffles between like wanting Sebastian to be gone forever and wanting Sebastian to stay in Dullsville, and I'm like, girl, you gotta figure that out. You really do. Becky also is kind of like, oh, this is so fun, like he's flirting with me, and Raven's like, you're supposed to marry Matt. And Becky's like, he hasn't even told me that he loves me, and whatever, like, we're dating, but I can talk to him like to another guy, it's fine, we're not gonna do anything about it. And I was like, oh my god. In both of these, oh, I did not mention that. In this one, Raven has to do this essay project. Sorry, we're going back to Royal Blood because I forgot. These get a little bit longer. She's also doing a project about what she wants to do when she grows up, and she of course gets paired with Trevor, and she actually like reveals that she knows Trevor really well, and it shocks Trevor, and like Trevor like knows her but doesn't really understand her, even though he's like obsessed with her, which whatever. But it's just like very funny that that's in there. But she gives like a very cool speech about like, even if you don't know what you want to be, you should be kind. Even though she's like always wanted to be a vampire, it's more like you should want to be a good person. You don't need to know who you want to be as a teenager. I forgot that. Just going back, I read these kind of close together. But back in Love Bites, Sebastian is like very fixated on getting his own girlfriend. He like really, really wants to have a girlfriend, but it needs to be like a vampire because he like gets very into Becky, and he's like, I should date a vampire. I shouldn't date a human girl. So they're trying to like set him up with someone, but also like the press wants to do like a big piece on Alexander, but like he obviously can't be photographed, so they have to like find a way to have a photograph of him for the paper, which is so interesting. And they like make over the mansion at one point to look basically like a model home, and then Alexandra's like, no, never mind. And I'm like, oh my god, you're so wealthy. Like, they bought all this stuff to make the mansion look normal, and then he's immediately like, nah, never mind. was like, oh good god, man, what the heck. So that was like a fun little thing. But like Raven is so odd in this one, just because she's like, I want Sebastian to leave, he's terrible. And then she's like, but Alexander has so much fun when he's here. But also Alexander is dealing with so much drama because he's here. But they decide that they want to throw a big party to try and find Sebastian a girl. And so she invites Onyx and Scarlet, who were in the Coffin Club book. And they, like, it doesn't quite work out the way she hoped, because neither one of them is, like, very into him. But of course, the party goes completely awry. And Trevor shows up, and Matt shows up, and Becky shows up. They're not invited. They really only invited Onyx and Scarlet and said it was a party. But they show up, and they're like, oh, you're having a party, and you didn't invite anyone. And then they have to get into this whole thing where, like, Matt's pissed about the Sebastian situation. And Sebastian winds up being like, dude, I was a jerk. I'm so sorry. But also Raven and Alexander told me I was a jerk. And they've been trying to keep, like, help me find a girlfriend so I leave Becky alone. And I was like, oh my god. But that, like, all works out. There's a big party. But then, of course, something wild happens. And at the very end of this, Jagger and Luna show back up. And everyone thought they were in Romania, but they show up. But their brother's not with them. It's just Jagger and Luna. And they show up at the party. And Luna, like, decides she has a thing for Sebastian. And this ends with Sebastian biting Luna, which is, like, a vampire thing. Like, there's, like, a whole thing about vampires feeding off of each other kind of mentioned, which is very interesting to me. They say something like, Sebastian and Alexander are talking, and Raven overhears them. And Sebastian's like, well, if you had her, you could get rid of, like, all this wine, because they apparently have, like, bottled blood in the basement that looks like wine, because you'd have her every day. And I'm like, is this because vampires feed off of each other, or would she have to stay human for this acknowledgement? So, like, blood, like, bonds vampires, I think, because they say something about, like, Sebastian inadvertently, like, Becky scraped her knee and he ingested some of her blood on purpose. But, like, when he did, Alexander was like, oh, he'll be even more drawn to her. So I guess it, like, connects you in some capacity, I think. But he bites Luna at the end of this, and, like, Luna's blood is on his fangs, which is interesting, and I was not expecting them to show up. Also, Jagger talks about starting a new club, because he wanted to use the Coffin Club to take over Hipsterville, but he got ousted, and so now he wants to do it in Dullsville, which is interesting as a premise. But it seems like Jagger, Luna, and Sebastian will all be staying, and that will be, like, tied into the next book. Also, Onyx winds up walking off with Jagger to, like, go dance, and Scarlet is, like, into Trevor, which Raven is like, that's so weird, why would you be into him? But also, I'm telling you, they keep setting up that, like, Trevor and Raven, like, could get together, which it would be an interesting choice. I'm curious to see if that's how the series ended, because I never actually finished the series. I don't remember Sebastian or Alexander's mom, but when I read these, it was so long ago, like, that I don't think that knowledge would have stayed in my brain. But yeah, so I am curious. I know these clips are so long, I'm sorry, but it's just how it's going to be with how I'm filming this video and with everything going on. But I am curious to see what happens in the next one. Now, the next two books are the longest in the series. So the next book is called Cryptic Cravings, and it is like 2 something. It's 200-ish pages, which makes it pretty long. The others have all been under 200. Also, this is when they changed the covers, or like maybe I think they just changed the covers. So, like, the other books in the series, it has like a version of Raven on the cover, or like, except the first one, and these, it's like close-ups of like a girl. So, like, this one's the hand, which is a little bit like the first book, kind of, because that one had like an invitation, but like this one is like a close-up of her face. And then Cryptic Cravings is like a close-up of the eye, and they feel a little bit like those LJ Smith covers. Like, I've seen books that have similar covers to these, but yeah. So the next one is Cryptic Cravings, and I'm gonna try starting that tonight, because it is, yeah, it's only a little after 9. Sorry, I completely covered my face to check the time. There's no clock in here, so I have to check my phone, and it's over here. But yeah, so I'm gonna read that. Oh, I have to also update Chloe's notes. I don't remember if I did that yet. I need to check her notes. We've been, like, keeping a log of her day, so we have it to show the vet on Saturday. Like a whole list of, like, schedule and how things have been going, and I need to make sure I updated that, and I need to make sure that I have an alarm set for 7:15, and I need to put my sleeves on, because I haven't done that You can't see the fingers that the sleeves go on. So yeah, so I'm gonna read a little bit. I'll have CSI on. The 2 dogs that I have up here are asleep, and I also have a Binks. So Binks is there with Bernie. The bag is not on his face, and then Kira is, I don't know the best way to show you. Can you see her? She's right there. But yeah, so I am gonna go. I will talk to you when I have updates on the last 2 books. I may just combo tell you about them. It just depends. Also, I don't know what I did. I'm having like an allergic reaction or something. That's interesting. But yeah, so I'm gonna go. I will talk to you at some point later. Gremlin Nose. Hi, Gremlin Nose. I thought I would fill you in. If you hear chewing sounds, it's Bernie. He has a bone. He's right there. I did read Cryptic Cravings last night, but I didn't talk to you about it. So I'm just gonna do a very quick recap of this one. So in this one, oh my gosh, we have like a club being built called the Crypt. Jagger's involved, Luna's involved, Sebastian's involved, Alexander's kind of involved, and like Scarlet and Onyx are still here, which is cool. They're really just trying to get the club built, and then Raven is really concerned because Jagger wants to set it up like the Coffin Club in Hipsterville, and he wants to like invite other vampires to come there and have like a special vampire only area. Raven is like, our town is too small for that, you really can't do that. So Raven is very actively against like inviting other vampires into town to take part in this club. And a lot of this focuses on her like trying to convince them like it's probably a bad idea not to do it. The crop circles come back up from the oh gosh, it wasn't even the Coffin Club book that had that. Oh my goodness, which book was that? You know what I'm talking about. There were crop circles in another book. But those come back up, and it is a lot of Raven trying to like make the club cool and available to like the teens of, like, it's basically like an underage club. Like, they don't serve alcohol, everyone just kind of hangs out. There is kind of a nefarious element that crops up because Jagger has created like a ceremony area, and Sebastian has fallen for Luna after the biting at the end of the last book, and they kind of want to like bind him to Luna, and that's like a secret thing that he didn't know was going on. Scarlet and Onyx are fun additions. They're really friendly with Raven, and they also have their own crushes, though oddly Scarlet is into Travis, which Raven is like, I don't like it, but also like I don't want to be with Travis. And again, I feel like this whole like she might be with Travis thing consistently comes up, so like I just don't know. It's like so interesting that like continuously comes up, and she has nightmares in this one, I think. Hi, hello, hi, I'm talking about a book, can you give me a sec? Oh, you're not gonna give me a sec. No, you're gonna give me a sec to talk. Thank you. Bernie's a little pushy. Yeah, she's like consistently throughout this had like odd dreams where like she and Travis are dating, and so Travis gives her a birthday gift in this because Raven and Alexander's birthdays are really close together, and they want to have a party that's joint at the Crypt, and she gets gifts, and in this Alexander gives her an eternity ring with like a black diamond in it. Like, it's very fancy. It seems very promise ring-esque. And then Trevor actually gets her a bracelet, like a beautiful bracelet, and she's like very thrown by this, and she's like shocked, and she actually gives him a hug because she's like, oh, it was a very nice gift, like, thank you so much. So it's very interesting that they're like kind of amping that up, and even Scarlet was like, oh yeah, you like him, and she was like, no, I don't, he's horrible. And Scarlet's like, but you do. So like it is interesting that we keep bringing like Travis being with Raven up kind of consistently. Another big thing that happens in this is that Becky figures out vampires exist. Like, she's like, I keep having photos of them and they're not in them. Like, I took photos. She like wanted to be involved with setting up the Crypt, and she took photos for like before and afters, and she's like, there are people missing in all these photos, like vampires. She like finally figures it out, and Raven's like, oh my god, I tried to tell you, and she's like, yeah, I do remember that actually, and like you did, and I didn't want to believe you. So this one is very interesting. They do set up the club, so the club does exist. We get Raven and Alexander celebrating their birthday together, and we also get the ring, which does set up the idea that they'll be together for eternity. But the big tease at the end of this one is that Alexander's little sister Stormy, her real name is Athena, but she goes by Stormy, is coming to visit. And that's interesting because Raven's like, you've never mentioned a younger sister, and I'm like, and he's like, well, it like never came up, I didn't really, and I was like, he didn't mention he has a younger sister because I'm very sure that this was added. Like, I don't think he actually had a younger sister. initially, like in the planning of this series, and they've added her for the final book, because the next book is the final book. I have read a tiny bit of it, but the big thing coming into this one is that Stormy is coming to visit, and also Alexander has given Raven this Eternity Ring. So yeah, we're on book 9, which is Immortal Hearts, and the cover of this reads so Evanescence to me. Like, it just looks like the cover of an Evanescence album. This one more specifically than this one, though this one is close. This is very Amy Lee coded to me. But yeah, so my hope is to read Immortal Hearts tonight and just finish up the vlog. Yes, I did put the books down. Yeah. So I'm gonna read and put on more CSI. So that's the plan. It is pretty early, but Krista and Chloe, like, Krista's exhausted because Chloe keeps waking up and then just like being up in the middle of the night, and then Krista just stays up because she can't like leave her. Like, she can't fall asleep while Chloe's awake. We did talk about switching and having me sleep downstairs, but I was like, would you sleep if we switch places, or would you be worried about Chloe? She was like, I don't know. And so I'm worried, like, if we did switch, she would just be worried about Chloe the entire night. And I, admittedly, if I was downstairs with Chloe, I know that I wouldn't really sleep, which would be fine. Like, I could handle it. We'll see. As a quick Chloe update, since I kind of speed went through Cryptic Cravings, she's been doing really well. We do still have to force the pills. She does not trust anything in peanut butter right now. She used to take anything in peanut butter, but after the thyroid medicine issue, she's like, I'm not taking anything you give me. So we've been just like giving her the meds. We did try tonight to see if she would take peanut butter, and she was like, no, I'm not eating this. She is very into the ground beef that I made. Again, it's just boiled beef, and then I like strained the fat from it. So there's like tiny bits of fat in the beef, but I did my best. She really likes the beef. I did make more beef and chicken tonight, so she has it. But unfortunately she has like, so there's a lot of sutures. Just as a kind of long story short, there's a number of sutures internally and then some kind of like externally, all kind of supporting her entire her entire insides, like below her rib cage. And she'd been leaking, which I told us was normal, from the top, like the top. I don't even like know how to describe it, because it's like, it's probably like this big. It's like this top little section. Hi, you're very pushy. And she'd been dripping from there, but they said that was fine. That was totally normal. It's just some kind of fluid that develops. We like checked with numerous people, and today it was like more like oozy. And I was like, I don't know. And like Krista took a picture of it and sent it to the vet, and he was like, ah. So she has like pulled the outer layer of stitches at the very top, in like about this length. And so when she moves too much, there is like stuff coming out. It's not, he said it's possibly fine. We're supposed to try and keep the area as dry as possible. And then she's seeing him Saturday. So he was like, you're bringing her Saturday, like we'll look at it more. The issue is that they may have to do additional stitches, like to reinforce the area, which would suck. But they said they might have to do that. That might be the only option they have, just to ensure that it stays closed. And she may have to be on antibiotics for longer, but we don't know. She's already on antibiotics for 6 more days, I think. My concept of time is fuzzy, and I don't have the pill bottle up here. But yeah, so the hope is like they'll see it, maybe like clean it a little, and then they won't have to do sutures. Like, please pray that she doesn't need additional sutures, because that would suck. But yeah, we've kept her as immobile as possible, but she also is, she's a dog who is very stubborn, and so sometimes she's like, I'm totally fine, and she'll like stand up really fast, or she'll like, she's not supposed to jump. And she actually jumped at the vet's office. So like, I was like, they were letting her jump at the vet's office. Like, they let her jump up on these benches, and she wasn't supposed to do anything that involved any jumping or climbing. And they let her jump there, which it's not on them. She did it on her own. And it was while they were like cleaning something. But here she has jumped up like a couple of times on this odd, like a footstool kind of thing. It's like a storage thing. It's not too high, but also she's really not supposed to be jumping, and we keep trying to keep her away from it, but it's like right by her leash, and sometimes she gets excited, and so she like wants to jump, and like we've set it up so like she can go from like the bed to the couch by like walking up kind of like a ramp of pillows. So she's not really jumping on the couch, but it's just this ottoman. And like we can't move it, there's nowhere to put it. And we're also using it to like hold things. So like if we don't have it there, like the bed will also have no, like the mattress we put on the floor will have no support. So yeah, we can't move it. But yeah, so Chris is keeping an eye on her, like an extra close eye. It's still, they said like do everything as normal, just keep an eye on it. So I'll probably have to keep paper towels, because I was like, how do we dab it? Like Krista Carlton was like, we have to dry it, like we have to, and I was like, okay, like what do we need to do? And so I'll probably have to keep paper towels near me while I'm working, so like if she falls asleep and her stomach is visible, I can like make sure to dab it if it needs to be dabbed. But yeah, so that's what's happening. She is eating well though, so that's good. She hasn't needed to be syringe fed for the past couple of days, so that's a very good plus for me, since I'm handling most of the feedings, just because of Krista's work schedule and I'm home. And I told, like, my work is aware of this, that like I have to take a couple like 5-ish, the like feeding and outing her doesn't take too wildly long, so like it's kind of just me taking a couple 5-minute breaks, and then I line one up with my lunch break, so I'm like out doing her feeding and outing during my lunch, so that doesn't impact much, which is good. But yeah, it's stressful. We were trying so hard, but like she did overexert herself a little when Krista's parents came, and like she was just excited to see them, and we tried our best to like reduce her mobility while they were here. And like during the day I try and make sure she stays on the bed, but like some things just like happen, and she'll like move really fast, or she likes to kind of like bend her body funny, which doesn't help. So yeah, it just, he said it was at least like the best spot for it to have happened, because like farther down the sutures are even more important, and up as high as they are, this is like the ideal spot for that to have happened, which it sure. So yeah, we'll just see. But you're not gonna come to the vet on Saturday, so there will probably be updates consistently in like all my vlogs going forward about Glow. So if you're watching, you'll know what's going on. I still don't know when I'm posting this at all, but I'm gonna go. We're gonna watch CSI, which we wound up watching during work, which was not planned, but Bruni barks at dogs on TV sometimes, and we got to the Paul Anka years of Gilmore Girls, and I had to turn it off, and the only thing I could think of was CSI. So, and that backfired on me too, because weirdly there were dogs. I was like, why are there dogs? Why are you doing this to me? So that's fun for everyone involved. Yeah, but we're gonna just toss on CSI. I'm gonna actually put on my pajamas. We've had the fireplace on downstairs, so the upstairs is very warm, and this is way too warm for up here. So yeah, so the next clip that I'm in, I'm either gonna be in pajamas or work sweatshirt. I don't know yet. But yeah, so I'm gonna go. I will talk to you in the final clip of this vlog, which will be about the last book, Immortal Hearts. See you in the next clip, Grimolinos. Alright, Grimolinos, we're just outfit repeating now. I'm in my Neighbor Before Christmas pajamas, and Kira and Bruni are very asleep. They just moved because I muted the TV. CSI is still on. Not that you care that I have CSI on, but I'm here for the final clip to tell you that I have finished Immortal Hearts. And this was, like, I feel like the series overall is cute. It is a very, like, I don't know, it's like an alternative-y kind of romance, because like we have goths, we have vampires, like we have very accepting like normal kids, but like the whole focus is like goth, and like the style is like different kinds of goth style, like alternative style, and like that is so fun for like very particularly a young reader who is into like alternative clothing and like wants to express themselves and is super into vampires and like horror movies and all of that. I will say, as the series progressed, before I get into the recap of this, that Batman reference goes away, which is great because the Batman references were so odd to me. Those do go away. The references become more focused on like alternative style, Hello Baddie, which is like a made up version of Hello Kitty, I believe, because I don't think it's a real character. And then other like alternative-y cartoon kind of characters like Emily the Strange, stuff like that. In this particular book, we have Raven at the point where she's like, I really want to know if Alexander is going to turn me or not. Like, I'm ready. And his sister Stormy has come to town. And so she really wants to like befriend his sister, get close with her, have like a relationship with her. And then what's interesting is, I mean, conveniently, Stormy is the same age as Billy, who, as the series has progressed, Raven has actually become a lot more friendly with her brother. In the first book particularly, she calls him Nerd Boy. She's kind of like mean to him, and like they don't really get along. As the series progresses, especially in this one, they do get along a lot more, and they kind of have a much more amicable sibling relationship. They even spend time together. And Billy and Stormy are the same age, so Billy winds up asking Stormy to the dance because he thinks it would be fun. They go, Alexander and Raven also go, and then Stormy really becomes friends with him and Henry. And then, of course, because Stormy has arrived, Valentine, the teen, well, I guess preteen, they're preteen, so like 12, vampire, who is the younger younger sibling of Jagger and Luna, he comes to town too, so he winds up all involved in this. This story itself, I'm gonna put this down just so you know, has Halloween in it. Like, this is kind of the perfect tie-up for the series because the first book had Halloween in it, and so it's been about a year, based on timelines, since Alexander and Raven met. A little over a year, I would guess. But the two of them, yeah, it would be a little over a year since they met. But at this point, it's really, Raven wants to know where the relationship is going. She and Becky are getting kind of used to discussing the fact that vampires are real. And it is really about like Raven connecting with Alexander and like his family in a more meaningful way for her. She does some fun designing, like she does Stormy's room for her, and Stormy loves it. And we do get some kind of tie-ups of like Jagger and Luna, and the there was like the big feud between the families, and then there was like a truce, and Jagger and Luna are still doing some wild stuff. Like, they try and perform basically a forced covenant ceremony on Raven, and it's kind of horrifying, but that doesn't happen, which is great. So that definitely gets stopped. But after that, they kind of have this sort of like big discussion where everyone is like, we should just all like, why are we doing this? Like, everyone should just kind of get along, which is a very cute way to like tie up a lot of drama that's been going on. And we do get Alexander deciding that he is going to turn Raven. He has decided that he's going to turn her. They discuss it. They make a whole plan. The covenant ceremony is set up. And of course, something goes wrong. And the thing that goes wrong is Trevor. So I had mentioned that I was like, well, are they going to like switch it up? And at the end, it's going to be that like she and Alexander stay together for a while, but then ultimately like Raven gets with Trevor. No, that's not what happens. So, sorry, I knew I was going to cough. So Trevor actually finds out about the covenant ceremony that Alexander and Raven are going to have, and he just like shows up and he pretends he's a vampire, and it's a whole weird creepy thing where he's kind of like forcing himself on Raven again. And he was introduced again earlier in the book. We know him from the entire series, but like Stormy met him, and Stormy was like, he really likes you, but also like he's rude. And so we do have that. Sorry, I'm trying to think of everything. Like, overall, there's a lot happening. Like, there's cute Halloween stuff, and also like Stormy wanting to be friends with more people than just Valentine. So there's a lot of like how vampires can feel lonely, and like how maybe people should like understand them. And Billy does come to realize that Stormy is a vampire. I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place. He does come to realize that, and he's still fine with it. He actually really likes her, and it's cute because she goes as Leia and he goes as Luke, and randomly they say Henry's a Jedi Knight, and I was like, well, that's a little lazy. Like, you could have had him be like anyone, but okay. So yeah, so we do get a lot of like what the downfall, like the pitfalls of being a vampire could be for Raven, and how she might have to deal with those. But again, I said a covenant ceremony gets set up, and they go through with it. They have the ceremony. Now, conveniently, the book just ends after that. Like, there's no epilogue. There's no how Raven's parents responded to all of this. There's no how Raven started going to night school. There is none of that. They leave like Ellen Schreiber's just like, and it's cute and they got together and it's done. And I'm like, she's 17? Okay, we're just gonna stop right there. Because it's cute and sweet. We're not gonna look into the implications of a 17-year-old and 18-year-old basically getting vampire married. No? Okay. I mean, we didn't worry about it in Twilight either, so it's fine. I mean, we did get the after effects, but like, just I mean, it's a baby in Twilight. They just kind of glossed it, whatever. I was just kind of surprised that it like just ended and we didn't get a like, and this is how everyone reacted. So I have no idea. I think the idea is supposed to be that her parents dealt with it. Though I feel like if I got myself turned into a vampire before I completed high school, my parents would have been a little annoyed. That's just me. Overall, this is a fun, cute young reader series, especially if you're looking for something for like a kid who's into like alternative stuff and they're not really feeling represented in mainstream media that they're reading. I think this would be fun, even though it's older. People still have cell phones. There's just not a lot of reference to much, but like people have cell phones, they watch TV. There's just no mention of like iPads or like apps and stuff. But overall, I think it still is pretty solid. There's some drama, there's some stuff I don't particularly like. Some of the guys, especially Trevor and Jagger, are very pushy. And Trevor's bullying because he likes her is inappropriate consistently, especially in book one. I feel like book one, the tone is like different and then it shifts as the series progresses. I'm guessing Ellen Schreiber kind of figured out more what she wanted to do with the series. The first one just feels a bit oddly mature in some elements. And then by this point, like Alexander and Raven like kiss, people kiss, but they don't really go any farther than that. And in the first book, Trevor was trying to have sex with Raven. So I'm just kind of like, I'm glad that we like backpedaled a bit to make it a bit more chaste. There's a mention of like the birds and the bees talk, but it is still relatively chaste. And commitment is kind of a key thing, like a promise ring with the eternity ring and all of that. There is an odd quirk besides the Batman references that I'm glad to see here. They, for whatever reason, in the editing of this, no one ever speaks in contractions. So they always are saying like you are instead of your. And like sometimes I'm like, the language is odd. Like it just feels like it should be shorthanded in some cases to feel more casual, and it's not. And that's the only thing that throws me off is sometimes I'll be reading and I'm like, teens don't talk like that. Like no one talks like that. So sometimes it feels a little more formal, and I don't know if it was like at the time if the lack of contractions was to facilitate like the age of the reader. I don't know. It's the one thing like consistently throughout. It does not change. There's just like very few, if any, contractions in speech. It's always like you are, we have to go. Like everything is very clearly written out. Or like you have to go, or you have like I can't. I'm so tired. I'm just kind of scatterbrained is really what it is. But yeah, it's just lack of contractions is odd to me. But overall, I do think it is a fun series. There's no like there's 4 books from the early 2000s into like I think this one published in like 2012. I think that's right. Yeah, 2012. There's no representation of like varied bodies. Like I feel like everyone's pretty thin, like everyone's very skinny and tiny, but no one is like, besides Trevor with Raven, that's really the only like, there's one bully. There's not like multiple bullies, and when people realize Trevor is a bully, people stop being friends with him, or he has to like do something to like win back their friendship. So like I do appreciate that. There are no like horrible words that you might expect, like the R word, for example, does not appear, and that was still appearing in some early 2000s teen stuff. That doesn't show up. So I'm like giving it some grace for like maintaining very like safe, I want to say. Like it's like it just doesn't feel dated exactly. Like I feel like you could read this at any point, and besides the cell phone thing, because I think they sometimes say you like flip the phone, like it could still be read now and be very accepted, and like you could even picture it being set in the modern, like in the nows, as opposed to the thens. But yeah, I think it's solid. I'm glad that I read it, because I am very sure I never read this entire series, so I'm glad that I read it. It helped take my mind off things briefly before I went to bed, so that was nice. So I will give it that. Yeah, and I like Raven. I like that Raven had character growth. Though she still wanted to be a vampire the entire time, she did become nicer to her brother. She started calling him Billy. She started caring about him a lot more. We saw that she has a good relationship with her parents that we didn't really see in earlier books. So I do see her growing as a character, which I really appreciate. So I think it's solid. I would actually probably recommend this over Twilight, if you're looking for like a vampire book for a younger reader, because I think this shows like better like relationships. Now it is a bit teen romance where it's like we are in love with each other, we are each other's only forever, and they're young. But I'm gonna give it that grace in that that's the whole point of this. This is a YA romance. So just keeping that in mind, there's still romance. I mean, Twilight, it's kind of the same thing. They decide very young, well, Bella's young, that they should be together forever. But this, they're actually the same age. So consent is okay. They're the same age, like they're within a year of each other throughout, which I think is good. So yeah, I would recommend this. I think recommend this for younger readers over Twilight. I also think I would recommend it just as like a fun series to check out if you want to read about like gothy vampires. Like it was a fun time. They're not hard books, they're quick, they're easy. It even has a review on the back that says that it is truly entertaining and fun from Teens Read Too. It always had like stuff on the back about how it has like, and it's won awards for like easy reading or books that get kids into reading, so I think that's always fun. But yeah, those are just my general thoughts. Just like a lot is going on, so I'm probably all over the place throughout this entire video. I'm not gonna hold that against myself. There's a lot going on. I just hope that I am doing enough to help. I'm really trying. I get stressed, and we're not supposed to be stressed around Chloe, which is a little hard, because I'm not stressed at her. I'm just like worried that I'm not doing like enough around the house, because like we still have to make sure the cats are fed and the cats are watered, and we need to do the cat litter boxes, and like I want to make sure that we have dinner, and like I want to like try and make sure that Krista can get sleep, even though like that's barely happening. And I can probably do more to help with that, and like just trying to like get stuff done around the house that I know needs done. And so like when work's over and Krista's here and I'm just kind of like trying to figure out what to do, I feel like I just seem extra stressed, because I'm like trying to figure out like, okay, this needs done and this needs done, and like we gotta do this, and oh, I should make sure to take care of this, and like da da da, and yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. And also like I just wanted to heal and feel better. So like I get worried that like she's not progressing as well as she should. I'm just like very glad that she's eating, and then like I just worry, and then I wind up sounding even more stressed, and like I'm sure it makes my temper seem very short, because I'm just like so focused on making sure like stuff's getting done, and I'm like trying to make sure that I can get work done on the like the setup that I'm doing right now. I'm making sure I get my stuff done, but like I'm just trying to balance that, because like I really like, I'm not gonna get into the ins and outs of requesting days off and all of that at my work. But yeah, so I know now I'm on a tangent, I'm not talking about the books, but yeah, so like if this video is all over the place, all the clips are really long. I doubt anyone is even gonna watch this, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, the books were just helpful in giving me like a thing that I could do. Oh, you're okay, Kier. Kier's asleep. Yeah, so like they're helpful. They've given me like a thing to do before I go to bed, to try and keep me from thinking about like all the stuff that I haven't done or should do or should be doing, or stuff that I need to try and remember and make sure that we're doing. And try and just keep all the schedule stuff straight and all of that. So yeah, I'm probably failing exceptionally, but hey, at least I'm making sure Chloe's fed right, and the other dogs are fed. I'm also making sure the cats are fed. I'm doing my best. Yeah, I should call it. I'm getting rambly. Sorry. You could have left this video long ago if you even deemed to watch it, because I'm sure it's like 2 hours. Oh, I don't even know when this is going up. Ever? Will this go up ever? Who knows? I mean, you know if you're watching it. Anyway, I should go. I'm not even gonna do like an actual sign off. I doubt anyone cares. Truly, this is just a nonsensical thing I'm doing at this point. Oh, as a positive, I will say, still don't trust the VCA, but they were nice and gave us a refund for all the money that we paid them in January to help us cover the surgery costs at a different vet, was kind of their reasoning. So I will grant them that I appreciate that they refunded our money. So thank you on that front. I just thought I would clue you in. Oh, also, I don't even know that I told you. Oh crap, this clip is so long. Very quickly, Krista got me like super cute Valentine stuff that came early, and she got us matching sweatshirts that are Heated Rivalry themed, but they're over there and I can't move because I have a dog on me. But she got us cute Heated Rivalry shirts, sweatshirts. I'll wear them, and well, I'll wear mine in the next one. You'll see them, I promise. And then she got these like cute matching sweatshirts that have like a heart and a puzzle piece, and they're really cute. And I also did not, like with everything going on, I didn't react as excitedly as I should have. So like, sorry. Now I'm just rambling. But they're very sweet, and I got her something for Valentine's too, but it hasn't come yet. But I'm gonna go. Whew. Whew. Anyway, I'm just gonna go. I'm getting vaguely emotional thinking about general stuff. Okay, so I will see you in the next one, Gremlin.